Welcome to the podcast. So listen,
Oh.
I'm in the middle of eating my lunch. Me and Demetrius talking. He's just dropping hardcore knowledge. I said, look, hold that thought. I can't say it no more. I can't say it no more because my boy is dropping knowledge. Now you're gonna forget everything you said. I don't even know where to start, right?
No. Listen, what you want me to say? I said, you
Listen,
said,
because we're talking about, like, I put personal brand in
yeah,
this
yeah,
piece, this
yeah.
section.
Okay.
And I put personal brand because, one, I'm reading this book called Create, and it actually looks like that design book I bought too, like Brand. I think it's called like Why Brand.
Wait, is that Marty Newmeyer is the author of that?
No, this is Eric Thane,
Oh, okay.
but it looks like another book I have called Brand or The Brand.
Yeah, but is that Marty Newmeyer, the brand?
I think so.
Yeah, he's like the godfather of modern day how we talk about branding. So
Right.
I agree with you. It looks like that book because I have the book too.
So this is a graphic designer who wrote it, and he's like going through. He talks about his journey, and I'm halfway through it, so I'm not even finished. But he's going through his journey of why it's important, like, one, to be a creator, not just create content.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about what's the difference. And I'm gonna go deeper into that, but
Yeah.
what he's saying, which I agree with, because I've struggled with something,
Yeah.
and I think it's important to talk about. But I asked you before we got on live, right? I asked you, how was your day?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask you again because when you went into it, I was like, oh my God, this is what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
That's why I stopped you, right?
Okay. Yeah. That was the first stop.
That was the first stop. There was like 4 of them. And I was like, listen, I'm just going to eat while we're doing the live because Demetrius just dropped straight fire and everybody got to hear it. Stay locked in and listen. Don't hear, listen. So, Demetrius, how was your day?
It was good. I'm just gonna go into what I said because that's what you're trying to tee me up for. I just basically said that my day was good because I I made today all about me, not necessarily just to be selfish, but just to spend time on my personal brand. And I shot a YouTube video today for my personal brand, and it felt good because I spend a majority of my time helping other people build their companies, their brands, and I just wanted today to be about me. So
Well, I think what's because this book helped me realize this piece of it. When you say personal brand, right? That's so almost generic.
Yeah, it is generic.
And it's generic in a sense of like, okay, what is personal brand? So
Yeah.
I'll ask you, what do you think personal brand is? And what does it, so I understand personal brand, but what does it encompass when you say personal brand? Because I've gotten enlightened by this book.
Yeah.
And, but let me get your take because you said it first.
Well, I'm excited to hear what you got to say. I think when I think about personal brand, the main elements I think of is definitely your physical presence, your digital presence, and then what you're known for. And you know, and then to me, it's just all the other intangible stuff like your personality and things like that. But just the most important ones to me is just literally like, and we talked about this before, like do you have a uniform? There's a certain thing you wear all the time, like that. And then it's the digital presence. It's like, where do you exist online, and is it healthy? I mean, if you Google my name, you're gonna find all these like half finished ideas that I started, little websites I done started that I have to go start to purge. And then it's like, I've settled on, I'm the practical entrepreneur. That's my brand. I'm the practical entrepreneur. Everything I say is going to come from a filter of practicality, and accessibility. So that's kind of my little quick answer.
Okay, let me tell you what I've struggled with when I think of personal brand.
Yeah.
So there's a stigma to playing poker, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
maybe there is, maybe there isn't. It's how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a piece of me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I do it now or I've done it before, whatever it is, me personally. So when I think about the content that I create specifically on Facebook, I'm like, oh, I have to be about ads. So I'm gonna run an ad agency, and I want people to come to my channel for ads.
Mm-hmm.
That's not personal brand.
It's not.
And when I think about what this book has, one enlightened me really quick about personal brand is people are attached to you,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the thing you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's you.
Yeah.
And the greatest example that they gave me for modern day was they say, look at Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk is more popular than all of his brands that he has. He has Tesla, he has
Mm-hmm.
SpaceX, now he has Twitter X.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's on a platform, he can be talking about any one of those things.
Yeah.
And you're attached to him and you want to
Mm-hmm.
hear the message about the thing that he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we so attached to Elon Musk? So I think personally that it's because we got to see the journey of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, and I don't know if it was a documentary or if it was, I don't even know what it was. Could have been on the History Channel, but it was
You probably
talking
watched the same thing I watched. I think I know what you're talking
Tesla.
about.
It was about Tesla.
Okay. Well, I've seen everything, but yeah, I thought you were talking about Elon Musk. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, maybe it was about Elon Musk
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
But in the section, it was about Tesla, and I was like, hey, I have this idea. I'm gonna build an electric car. I'm gonna give away the patents. I'm not gonna hold anything back. I'm gonna exclusively give it to like these people. And I think he had like 10 people in a room, maybe 20, and they were the first car buyers.
Oh yeah.
And he
And
was like, look,
they was mad at him.
they were mad at him. He's like, look, man, I'm
I
trying my
seen that.
best.
Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
that.
He's
Yeah.
like, the first one, they're broken.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want these ones. They're trapped. I'm taking it back to the bottle. And
Yeah.
and to see it come, to see his journey grow from that
Yeah.
to where Tesla is now, it's like, wow. You
Yeah.
know, like, I got more attached to that, to Tesla and Elon Musk, because I saw, and I'm gonna say the journey, but it wasn't just the journey, it was like behind the scenes of the journey, right?
Yeah.
The growth of that, like the humility, I want to say humility, or being humble, or like, hey, look, I'm gonna show this to the world, because he
Yeah.
didn't record it, he could have did it behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to see it, so we were attached to that. So I go back to what my struggle was, right? So my struggle has always been, well, I wouldn't say I'm afraid to say what my faults are, right? I'm not that hard. I mean, every time I get on and I'm transparent, my parents are like, I know you're gonna go on Facebook and tell the world. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. People feel that's why Facebook is there. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's why you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
See what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not afraid of that part, but I think maybe in the back of my mind there is a stigma of like, hey, look, if I'm thinking about my personal brand, it's things that I like, things that I enjoy, and poker was one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Poker's been one of those for a while.
Yeah.
I think I let it go because of the stigma that maybe I was influenced on, of like,
Yeah.
but really, I feel I am a good player.
Yeah.
I love the strategy behind it, and I felt
Yeah.
like I made this connection maybe a year ago now, where I was like, oh my gosh, the reason why I love ads is because there's a strategy behind it, and like return on investment. Where do I put my money in the best? How am I going to, all of that, like controlling the whole thing.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm going to lean into personal brand
Yeah.
and say, okay, look, this is Michael Gabriel. My
Yeah.
channel, it might be a mess. But
Yeah.
it's going to be strategic about me. You're going to fall in
Yeah.
love with me. You're not coming, you're not coming no more for my business and ads. You're coming for me. And I think, and I don't know how far, because I haven't even gotten to the part where it's like, hey, this is how you do branding, right? Or your personal brand.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing, through the stories that are being told in the book, is that one, it's about the journey, and two, it's about being transparent. And he talks about, if you look at people who vlog, right, and they get up in the morning and they make their coffee and then they sit in front of their computer, and it's like it's very mundane and boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even Elon Musk, right? He has such an exciting life.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see what's next. Like
Mhm.
SpaceX, you're going to the moon?
Yeah.
Is the world flat? Like, you
Yeah.
answer the questions. I don't
Yeah.
know. All I think of is, I think there's, and I don't even know how far that is in the book because maybe I'm off. But I
Yeah.
think one, you you have to be transparent, share the journey, good and bad. Two, like you have to be bold,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have mean you jump off of skyscrapers, but I think just I think what happens is as people get attached to personal brands, and I would love to get your opinion on this part of it, but it's almost like you're living the life they want, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I wish I could start a business.
Yeah.
I wish I had the cojones to go out there and like put it on the line, but I feel safe, but I'll watch it from a distance and look at this guy, he's doing it.
Yeah.
So I think a piece of that is how you gain a big following. It's like you're living this life that people want to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, it says, fortune favors the bold. And I think
Sure.
it's an old universal law that, like, if it was easy to do, then everyone would do it, right? So if it was easy to be successful, and let's just define what we're talking about success, because everyone says it depends on who you are. Let's just say a lot of money. Let's just say $10 million. You're worth $10 million. Like, let's just put a number on it, because I'm not talking about any other success really than financial success. Even though there's other elements, I don't want to be unhealthy and divorced and have $10 million. That's not what I'm saying. But my point is that we know that money is a very important thing to have. Okay. So I just want to clarify that. To get to $10 million, if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like when people, just from a content standpoint, when we see Elon Musk, or we see you building your business in real time and showing your lifestyle and all the stuff you're doing, it's like we literally get to see people going through the fire in real time, and we admire them for that. Honestly, I think that there's no other way you can move forward, Michael. Let's just say with the ads thing, right? Let's just say the state of content now. I'm sure, well, I know for a fact that you understand how to run ads. And I've seen your videos. You know what you're talking about. But there's so many other people talking about the same tactics. Not saying the same as you, but my mean is it's a crowd. It's a crowded marketplace, is what I'm trying to say. Of people trying to talk about ads. The thing that's unique is the part you're talking about, that you're leaning into. It's like, well, not only does he talk about this stuff, I really like the guy.
Right.
So now it doesn't matter, and people are brand loyal. There's a term called brand loyalty, and it's literally because people are loyal to brands that they like. So yeah, I would say that that's really the only route to go. I don't think you could just come out with straight content. I don't think you could come out with
Not no
straight
more.
educational content anymore. There's
Not no
too many
more.
people doing it. So
You got AI doing
Yeah.
podcasts.
I
and-
know. Gotta have something unique.
Hey,
Purple cow.
it was fire though. I have
Yeah.
to tell you, I listened. It was
Oh,
fire.
you listen? You listened?
I loved it. Like it was so. So to reference what we're saying, to me, if you're okay saying it, right? Let's be transparent. Other side, right? Demetrius has a business that he's using AI to write the script, AI to deliver in voice, and you're even transparent on the podcast saying that, like, hey, this is your AI coach, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was the voice is clean, but it almost sounded a little robotic.
Yeah.
I loved it because of that.
Yeah. That's
Does that
why we
make
had to
sense?
we had to lean into the fact that you're listening to our whole model of our company. Our mission is that using technology and AI as non-human autonomous employees, right? So we're basically saying that your employee, your work, not saying you don't have employees, but some of your workforce should be these AI bots or whatever you want to call them, right? just using technology. It doesn't have to be AI bot. You can use a Facebook. You can schedule your content through a scheduler and say that's your social media manager, but it's a software, right? So the point of the podcast is that we're too busy running the company to do the podcast. So we sent our AI bot to do the podcast, and so we had to do it that way because there is a little bit of roboticness to the voice. So we had to lean into that. We had to lean into that problem to make it not a problem. If that makes sense.
I love it. See, and what it reminded me of was like Jarvis, or Kit, right? It's
exactly.
Like, it's a real person. It just has to, like, it has a personality.
Yeah,
it just has to be delivered this way because this is the way it is.
Yep.
Fire, man! What a great idea. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's that whole Walt, Willie, and the Wizard thing I talk about, which to me I think is a part of personal branding. Because I think it's a part of branding in general. It's just adding little magic, little fun, little entertainment, not taking everything so seriously, which going to your personal brand, I mean, it's just like, I remember that networking event you threw at Topgolf in Columbus. And you had a guy there who came that I met. He's a videographer from Columbus. I actually still connected with him through LinkedIn. I see all his videos. We don't talk or anything, but he's still consistent. And he pulls out his business card and it caught on fire. And he handed it to me.
Let's talk about this guy more than once.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. And it was just like, hey, he loved magic.
Yeah.
But he was a videographer and he wasn't trying to do magic. He was trying to be a videographer, and he figured out a way to do his passion to promote himself as a videographer.
Yeah. And
I keep remembering him, so that's that little bit of like fun. It doesn't have to be boring business, like I'm sure as soon as somebody hires him, he's going to send him over a contract. They're going to sign a contract. They're going to figure out a payment schedule. It's going to be business. But it just was cool that he did that. It was like a little.
You like him more for that.
I liked him more because I was like, you're not a boring person. You're not like stuffy.
You're not boring. It's real. You're real.
Well, think about Trump. I'm not trying to get political because we don't even have
whatever you want. This is the other side.
Trump got elected president because people liked him. Okay. The only reason people stopped liking him is because politics got involved. Before, he was doing all his little weird stuff and stuff he was doing. When he was just a celebrity, everyone loved him. And it just proves that somebody can become the president just because you're likable. And it's not likable like you're the nicest guy ever. It's the thing you said earlier, right? It's like Trump is doing stuff that I wish I had the bravery to do, right?
Yeah.
Who cares if it's real or not real? It's fake. That's not my point. My point isn't to sit here and like defend Trump. If you just use it as a case study, there are people in America who watched The Apprentice, seen his buildings with his thing on the top, Trump Towers, seen him buy casinos, all these different things. And they're like, you know what? This guy is a go-getter. He does what he wants to do. And I like him for that. You know why? Because either I'm a go-getter and I do that, so I see myself in him, or I'm not a go-getter and I want to be one and I want to be him. And it doesn't matter how you slice it, but people liked him and they voted him to be the president.
And the reason why you follow him is because you want to know what's the next thing is this guy going to do?
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want you to think about that for you because you're saying personal brand, right?
Yeah.
So personal brand doesn't always mean business. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to lean into, like, because I know you love music.
Yeah.
You like that stuff. And I would love to see that stuff. I feel like one time you gave me a video or I made a video and I had a lot of graphics in it and I used it for my whatever. I used it for a demo reel.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing you behind the scenes, like hitting the buttons, whatever you were doing, I don't even know where I even got that video from.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, look at this guy. For real.
No, I was thinking about that when and this might be like a good debate, right? So for me, my personal brand has to generate me money. So I am trying to focus it. And like I said, the practical entrepreneur. But, and you'll see this. Well, obviously, you're probably not going to see it because my videos are like 30 minutes long, 45 minutes long. So you're not going to watch those. I wouldn't even watch them. I don't even watch them. I just record them. But my point is, and this is the premise of like my whole why I'm doing this. And I'm curious to see get your opinion and your thoughts, as well as anybody else's thoughts, right? I said, I'm gonna do these YouTube videos. I'm gonna take clips, put them on shorts, just because I feel like you have to. But I'll only have one call to action, and it's a newsletter. And here is what I'm saying. So the whole premise of my videos are: here's all the stuff I've learned failing as a business that I feel like I've been able to turn around and tell you what I learned, right? So I definitely come from a place of vulnerability right away. So I'm literally, my whole thing is I have 10 years experience self-employed, and I've pretty much made every mistake you could possibly make. So I have content for days. Okay. So then I'm doing a lot of storytelling, and I'm mixing in every aspect of my life, because part of being a practical entrepreneur is you're just an entrepreneur, but you're also a husband. I'm a father. I'm this and I'm that. So I weave all that into. So I talk about parenting. I weave all that stuff into like kind of what I'm talking. So it's literally not like business content. It's literally I'm talking to literally just an entrepreneur. Like, so we could be talking about dieting and things like that. So I am able to weave in some of those things, some of those experiences, some of my passions. But here's my premise, and here's what I'm telling people in every video. I said, technology is moving so fast that it's going to be very hard to compete with people like me. And I said, I'm going to tell you why. I don't need short form content. I can consume long form content. Okay. So if I want to master something, I will learn what I need to learn to master that skill. Okay. If I want to deep dive with AI, I will deep dive in AI, right? So social media is going to be a bubble, and it's going to explode, because you can only make so much short form content about the same stuff before the quality of content gets so garbage that people tune it out, right? And I said, for entrepreneurs who want to compete with other entrepreneurs who are out here learning and growing, I said, I believe there's going to be three main ways. It's going to be long form YouTube videos. It's going to be newsletters from entrepreneurs you like, and it's going to be podcasts from entrepreneurs alike. And I said, what you should do is identify your 10 people you believe and listen to them. Get their content in long form and listen to them, and they will make sure to steer you when these things start happening with crypto. You don't know what to do because you're over here worried about AI. You can't be worried about crypto too. You're like, oh, but these three dudes I listen to, their long form content gives me the nutrients I need to understand crypto. You're not going to get it from a 60-second TikTok. They're using that to get people to catch. They're using their TikToks to hook people, not teach people. So you need to be taught. You don't need to be hooked. You're an entrepreneur, remember? So I just think we need to get out of that phase as entrepreneurs, mature entrepreneurs, of kind of having no attention spans. Like I know we say the people don't, right? But we can't. You have to have a long attention span in order to compete. It's going to be impossible with AI and Sora. Sora? Do you know how much garbage content people are going to make and flood?
Oh my gosh!
Flood the short form vertical videos.
What is Sora for people who don't know?
Man, it's OpenAI's new prompt or text to video.
So it'll make videos from prompts.
And it will literally be, I think they said you could do about a minute, which is super long.
Super long.
And they showed, go Google it if you're not familiar, anybody out there. It's literally like photorealistic, like like videos.
Crazy.
And it's
Crazy.
not the weird AI video stuff, like the nightmare
No.
AI videos that are out there. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's not illustrated. It's like photorealistic,
yeah.
like you're shooting a camera video.
Yeah. So my theory for the personal, I'm just going to say my personal brand, but I even say this for
Got
you,
it.
man. It's like I agree with you. So I'm there with you as far as you have to like me. The reason I'm doing 45-minute videos is because I am turning them into podcasts. I also need them to be low. I also need them to be very low production setup. So I don't want to have no video footage on it, no intro, no outro. I just turn the camera on and I talk about a topic. And then what I'm optimizing for is more word of mouth and more of this whole philosophy of, if I'm giving you a ton of, oh, what did I just do?
What the?
That was weird. Hold on. I did this and it did like some confetti. But I don't even know, man. So I know I'm scared they're gonna have something come into my mouth or something like that. I'm like,
Oh,
anyway.
you missed it. He did a gesture and it just went crazy. What was that? Are you on your phone or are you on your computer?
I'm on my phone.
Maybe that's what it did.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. My point is that for me, my philosophy, right? Because I feel like that's a part of it too, from a personal brand, is you have to have. I know it's gonna sound crazy, it's gonna jack people up, but you have to have a religion, right? You have to have a set of beliefs, right? My set of beliefs are, if I'm making short form content for you, I'm really not feeding you nothing. And if I'm saying I want all the other entrepreneurs who are practical, I don't know what's going on, dude.
I think maybe someone's adding that. Maybe someone's live and they're pressing buttons.
No,
Or you did.
I think it's a gesture I'm doing. I think it's a gesture I'm doing or something like that. I'm trying to say, oh my gosh, I'm just guessing at this point. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, Wakanda forever. But anyway, I just think that like I try to identify a certain type of person. So I'm making my content. It's gonna sound so weird. I'm not using all the appealing things you do with content to make people want to watch it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna challenge you.
Challenge me.
Because you're building a personal brand. We identified that it's like you're not a one trick pony. To build a personal brand, you have to make other connections.
Yeah.
Do you allow people with long form content to make other connections if they have to watch 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in?
So that's why I think that that's why I think my call to action is a newsletter, right? And I pretty much make that clear, even like at the beginning when I'm talking, and on the video it says join my newsletter. And I probably think through social media, that's probably kind of what I'll push people to. Part of it is, to answer your question, no. I think that the person who doesn't watch my videos all the way through is probably not the person that I'm actually trying to build in my tribe. I think that's kind of like I'm disqualifying those people. So which is great. And my content isn't like necessarily boring though, right? Like even though it's like 45 minutes, it's like I'm telling like stories. I'm like kind of, you know me, I'm kind of animated. I'm kind of, I'm going through things. So it's not that it's not catchy. It's just that I guess my premise is that let's say if you want to hide something, put it in a book, right? And you got books with you. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's one of those things where I think I'm trying to do that. I think I'm trying to like see who out there is still intellectual, who still out there has a philosophy that aligns with mine. And,
And I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, I'm still doing the short form thing too. I'm doing the Opus clips, I'm doing the AI, find the best thing and turn it into some TikToks. I'm still doing that. But
is that personal brand or is that like business?
Okay, so I think
so I'll tell you something. I heard the saddest thing the other day, and it resonated with me because I was at that point one time.
Yeah.
And I was at a meeting, and in-person meeting and we're just talking and like,
Yeah.
hey, like we're wrapping up, like, oh, hey guys, what do you like to do? And still I hesitated on poker. That was
Yeah.
just the other day.
Yeah.
And this guy, he answers, he says, hey, I think I like business. That's my hobby is business.
I think that's my hobby.
That is the saddest thing I heard.
It's not, because I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna distill it down for you. You ready?
Please. Yes.
Business is strategy, philosophy, frameworks and systems, right? So when your kid is getting have a certain situation in school, you're gonna put your business hat on as a father, even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you don't think you're doing that, you're gonna come up with some sort of strategy. You're gonna everything you've learned to build a successful system, you're gonna try to employ that in your family. When you go on vacation, you're gonna approach it from that standpoint. When you think about movies and all these different things, you're gonna be like, oh, that is why I like Matt Damon. Yeah, I love his brand. Like, so for me, I know for a fact that everything I do, I think about, how is that built? Wait, how did they set that up? Anytime I go to a restaurant, I'm like, oh yeah, I wonder how many employees they got working, right?
You don't think your hobby is music though?
Yeah, music, yeah. But see, but here's the thing. You know why I like music? Because I like to build things. So when you say that book's a creative, I like to create stuff
You're
from my ideas. So to me, that's why that podcast you mentioned, I didn't do the music. I got stock music because I ain't got no time to do no music no more.
yeah.
But I literally chose the music and I edited it around the voice and I EQ'd it and all that type of stuff. And that to me was my favorite part. But I still was building something for my business. So I see what you're saying, and I think I agree with you. I just know for me, I don't look at business as business. I look at business as just like a perfect example. Zombie apocalypse happens, right? There's no more economy. There's no federal government. There's no banks or nothing. People are going to go down to the barter system. They're going to go to basic economic business, the market, supply and demand. I got a lighter for you. Can I get some food? I have 5 lighters. Sorry, there's no demand for that right now. We have enough fire. What else you have? I have bullets. Okay, cool. I'll take your bullets. It's gonna be a way of life. And it's gonna be so. I just think that I just automatically think like that all the time.
Listen, I was there too.
Yeah.
I felt that was it. Like, and it's not that. And I feel like that's why I attach to a lot of other people's hobbies. Like,
Yeah.
my cousin bought guns.
Yeah.
And someone else's hobby, or try golf. And it's like, no, I don't like any of this stuff. I'd rather just do my business stuff.
I like video games more than I like music.
Okay.
Because music to me started off as a passion, and then once I went through the music industry, it turned into a job, and it's never been the same for me.
So could you say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
could
I'm
you
glad
say
you
that
interrupted me.
you because you ramble? Is that what
Yeah.
All right, but could you say you could use, let's just use video games, right? I could use video games as people to hook them into my world, and if they enjoy my long form content, then they stay. Because I
Yeah.
guarantee you this, I will put money on it that you can have 2 pieces of content. They could be the
Yeah.
same length. One will be about video games, one will be about business.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll get more likes, engagement on your video games than you will on your business.
No, you're right. You're right. But video game people are losers.
Yeah, and I'm not
So
saying
I don't want that target audience.
right, but there are people who are businessmen who like video games who will play, right? You can go other way with it too.
I see
right?
what you're saying. Yeah.
So you can, it could be like a filter, I would say, but really what you're doing is tricking the algorithm.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
because the more engagement you get on one piece of content, it'll test your next piece of content.
Yeah.
And say, oh, this one was good. Let's see if people like this one.
Yeah.
Okay, that one, then we'll dial it back down. And like you're building your audience through, because that's how it works, man.
Yeah.
Your personal content will
Yeah.
get more. I'm just saying, will get more engagement, and then you throw business content, and then all of a sudden, one business video or whatever business thing will hit high, and you'll be like, "Damn, that was nice," and then you'll throw a couple more behind it, and it'll slow down, and then you put your personal thing in. So I think that's why it's important to have a mix.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I'll tell you where I'm at, and I think you'll understand where I'm at. Because I would say what you're saying is correct. Okay. But I gotta baby step it for myself. Because I know like for me, it's like I just gotta get consistently putting content out,
Absolutely.
which I've never done. Like I've always flaked out on it, right? So that's kind of why I'm doing it this like basic minimalistic way, just so I can just prove to myself I can do it. But yeah, I do think there's other things I would probably talk about or kind of other twists I would put on the content. And I kind of I do want my YouTube channel to be that. I actually don't mind if like one day it's like, yeah, let me tell you about this new game that I've been playing that's just been killing it, right?
Yeah.
I actually don't have a problem with that. I'll probably always bring it back to some sort of like philosophy I'm thinking of, some universal laws, some framework, some marketing thing. I'm not gonna be able to help it, but I will say this. I don't like talking about video game. I don't like video game culture, and I like playing them. It would probably be more something like movies or something like that, right? If I were to really mix my passions, it would probably be more like movies and like art and stuff like that. Like for example, like you like to play poker,
Yeah.
but you also like the culture of poker, right? Like I like when I'm making content, I'm thinking like where would I want to be invited to talk to people to talk to? It ain't no video game people. I'll tell you that right there. I don't want them asking me to come talk, but I do still like entrepreneurs. And I think honestly, it could be a sad thing that's just how I don't know. Like you're right. I don't know.
I think I say it's sad only because now that I've leaned into something that I like, playing poker, like I enjoy it, right?
Like
So,
I love Disney. I love going to Disney World and Universal Studios. I love
yeah.
it. You know
All
what I'm
right.
saying?
You're a thrill seeker at the same time.
No, well, I think it goes back to the movies.
See,
And it
this is connected.
goes back to creating stuff. I like creators. I like Walt Disney. I like all those I like the people who like dared to create all that stuff, you know.
So let me tell you something that's happened multiple times when I've been on a Zoom call with either new clients or like prospects. Like it happens right now. Like I have a lightsaber in the back.
Yeah.
Right. And it happened with a brand new client. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I got a lightsaber too," and he pulled it out, and it's like the same one I have. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, look at that!" Right, and in that split second, I knew he liked me.
Yeah.
And because of that, he's been a client for over a year.
Yeah.
And at times we don't even get good results.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it allowed some type of connection to have. Whether that, we quickly built rapport, whatever you say that is. But that was personal. That had nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah.
And I have another down there. There's another one that is, it's a Lego that I built, and it's R2D2, right? So I like Star Wars stuff, and I've got asked all the time about that thing. Now it might be hard to see if it's out of frame, but people recognize it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." I was like, "He's always got my back, like Skywalker." That's why he's back there. So it's like it's able to make a connection. I think that's what personal brand is really about. It's about making a connection.
Yeah.
And when you make that connection, then you have a following, you build your audience.
You want to know the difference between me and you?
Tell me.
It's I figured it out. You're more structured than me, right?
Sure.
So the way you can move in a very specific way, right? I'm more like, this could sound weird, but like I'm more like the guy you come see who lives in the mountain cabin that used to be in marketing, and it's like you go spend a day with him, and he's gonna have you, sit on the floor, and he's gonna light a candle. And he's going to like tell you all this stuff. And when you leave, you're just going to be a different person. That same thing can happen with you though, too. I'm just like a different type of, I'm like a philosopher. Like I've tried to not be this way and I realized I had to lean into it.
Yeah.
I just have a whole new, not a whole new, a whole different, like, I'm like the original version of a guru. You know what I'm saying? Before they
You
got
know
a
what
bad
it
term.
reminds me of, and you said this maybe once before, which I hope it doesn't turn out this way.
Yeah.
But when we watched Chris Doe first come out, he
Yeah.
had that guy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
looked
I
like
know
a
exactly.
hippie. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He kind of looked hippie-ish, and
Yeah.
Chris
And I
Doe was
said
like,
that to you though.
"Hey, cut."
I said you're Chris Doe and I'm Jose Caballero. That was the other guy's name.
What happened to him? He's off the map. I haven't heard about him.
So I could tell you what happened, and he's talked about it in videos. He basically said Jose is the one that forced him to do all this. He had all these frameworks and all these cool things to do, but he was uncomfortable because he's so structured. Jose got him started. But Jose, just like me, Jose's a starter, not a finisher. He's all about emotion and feeling and all that connection. And it was very hard for Chris to operate in that unstructured environment. So they kind of parted ways as friends. And Chris kept the structure and the consistency and all that. And Jose is out just working with different clients and doing different stuff and doing his thing. And they're still they did some they like did some videos together not too long ago, like kind of talking about it. But it wasn't necessarily a negative outcome, but it was exactly what you're saying. It's like that was the best example. I'm Jose. You're Chris Doe. You're consistent, structured. You just are more systematic. The reason I love framework so much, the reason I like universal laws, all these different things is because I lack that as a personality. So I have to like learn it and consume it all the time. And it's turned me into like a philosopher where it's like, why is the sun red? Well, the sun is blue on Tuesdays. It's like, what are you saying? I know what it means to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I know why I'm saying it. So that's kind of I think that's me. And I think that's kind of the approach that I think I'm leaning into, that I really want people to come through in my videos and my newsletter and on these videos.
Well, I think personal brand is super important moving forward. But
Yeah.
let's talk about, we talked about a lot of benefits of it, right? Gaining
Yeah.
following, being whatever that is, right? But the con behind it, when you're building personal brand, typically is your business, right? This is what it is. But when you build a business around a person, it's hard to detach that person if you go to sell the business or if something along those lines happen. How do you feel about that aspect of things?
Yeah, it's funny you said that. That's one of the reasons why we were deciding to really kind of turn Jima into a person. Part of it is definitely intellectual property, right? We're trying to build our own Mickey Mouse, or Donald Duck or whatever.
Yeah.
And use influencers to push people to our brand. So that's why I'm starting to come out and build my personal brand so that I can just talk about this other company over here that I own. But you also see all these other influencers talking about the same company. And then once you get a part of the company, or once you decide to check the company out, a person you admired told you. So that's that human connection. But then once you come to the company, it's like, it's not me, because at first it was me making videos and all that type of stuff. We're starting to do faceless videos, even if it's me doing voiceovers. So we're not just trying to we're just trying to make it a little bit more.
But don't people want that human touch? That like, hey, I love Steve Jobs.
I think that they do. But to your point, it's like there's no solutions, only trade-offs, right? So there's no perfect way. You're going to lose in some area, and we want to sell the business. So like specifically what you said is actually why we did that, or why we're going that route, is because we want to sell the business. And that's also another reason why I'm doing my personal brand, is because I'm trying to start now so that I can do something with it at some point, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, yeah, like I don't. So, but yeah,
Well,
like I
if
agree
you
with
think
you.
of if you think of Elon Musk and your personal brand, he can shift and move markets by
Yeah,
just his words.
yeah, exactly.
He could buy Twitter and be
Yeah,
like, "Hey, look, follow me," and gain X amount of followers, or even lose X amount of followers at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I think one thing you were saying that I thought about when you mentioned Trump was I was thinking about who's the guy now? I had his name, Howard Stern. And I remember watching the movie. Now, whether it's true or not, right? Whatever it was, they were like, "Oh my gosh, people who like Howard Stern listen for an hour. People who don't like Howard Stern listen for 2.5 hours." It was like, the polarizing piece
Oh,
of
I see what you're
of
saying.
that. Like,
Yeah,
they basically, it's like, again, you have people who are following you because they like what you're doing or what's next. And then I think it happens with Trump too. People follow him just to they don't like him, but they just like, ugh, right?
yeah, yeah,
And to see what he's gonna do next,
yeah,
that they could talk about it and hate about it, crazy, whatever
yeah.
whatever side of that personal brand really needs. But
Well, I think that comes down to the thing I said. You have to have beliefs. You have to have a religion that you've created, a philosophy that you believe in. And I think that people, that's why Andrew Tate exploded, in my opinion, because he had definitive thoughts. Whether you agree with him or not, he had definitive thoughts. He can articulate exactly what he believed. And I think that the worst thing you can do is have no sort of thing that connects people to your brand in a sort of belief system, right? So even with your personal brand, it's like, what do you believe? People should know what you believe, not from the standpoint of like, I'm not talking about religion or who do you vote for? You're a Republican, a Democrat. I mean, just like what are the tenets to your brand? What are the when you join a society, what are the secret laws that we've created that we all are aligning around? And I think that sometimes they're polarizing. That even makes people be like, want to defend your brand now. They're like,
yeah,
we're a part of it. You shouldn't be ashamed of poker.
yeah, yeah.
Pastors play poker too. Priests, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my gosh,
Like,
listen, I on my journey of looking out what's out in the world, I
yeah,
found someone and his handle is like the poker pastor.
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's pretty intense there."
yeah.
Like, that's definitely polarizing.
But wait, why? I want to ask you real quick. Why
Yeah.
do you? I think you said it earlier, but I just want to dig into it. Is it because of how the people you looked up to that played poker is why you kind of was ashamed of it for a bit? Because poker itself is to me is like a game of intelligence and strategy. It's like
Well,
chess.
I think it started with my parents,
Oh,
I
okay.
think they were like, like, and they just beat me down.
Yeah, yeah,
I played cards for 7, 8 years, for a
yeah,
long time. Um, with that being said, there's a lot I mean, when you play at a casino, you play anywhere, but
yeah,
typically if I'm playing at a house game, like there's a lot of not so good people, right? You got
oh
drug
yeah,
dealers, you
yeah,
got
yeah,
you got stick up kids, you got the lawyers, you got cops. Like you're around so many different people. And when you're in a
yeah,
house game, typically, like if it's a bunch of, you know, not the best of society, they're all there, right?
yeah,
So you're like in this crowd of like, man, this does feel sketchy. It is sketchy. Like, but yes, when I play at a casino, then it's a lot more like, hey, this guy's a doctor. This guy's this guy, right? So it's a little bit more. It feels a little bit better. So I think that's a little bit of piece of it. And I'm playing now at local bars and sports bars and
mhm,
restaurants. And there's times I'm sitting there and these guys are just drinking, and drinking, and they're like falling over, and that part feels ugly about it.
yeah,
So, and I think that's the difference of poker plays this fine line of like, hey, you either playing strategy or you're gambling. And the people who are gambling, like they're gambling. And those are the guys who are like getting drunk and don't care. They just,
I get it.
you
I get
know,
it. I think it's a cognitive dissonance though, because people it's like people go to Applebee's after church. Applebee's is a bar. People are
yeah,
getting drunk in Applebee's. Okay. Like
sure.
if a person owns a business in the neighborhood and the local drug dealer comes in to get his clothes dry cleaned, they're going to be like, sorry, can't take your money. You're a drug dealer. They're going to take his money. So I just feel I'm talking about the same people that are having a problem with poker. So people just need to get out of their cognitive dissonance, shake themselves out of it, and look at life a little bit different. And I didn't even include you. Like, you're right. You're probably around more drunks than you probably want to be around. But I just think that, like, there's a bar in every restaurant in America that we take our families, and there are alcoholics that are coming to those same bars. There are prostitutes sitting next to you. Whatever you want to, whoever these people. My whole point is that as long as you're not breaking people's legs when they owe you money, and we're not finding people in dumpsters.
Yeah.
Folding people in half and putting them in barrels and.
Well, I know. Well, here's the dark side of poker.
Yeah.
I when I was doing the house games, there were people who like set up poker games to get robbed.
That's
and crazy. I just heard it's crazy. I just heard about one that happened in Cleveland 2 months ago.
Yeah.
They came in with guns. They stripped people naked. Like it was crazy. So that has a bad little.
Yeah.
Just because all the money is there, right?
Yeah.
So, that has a.
Yeah. So, well, that's a safety thing.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't. I'm too nervous. I'm too scary out here, so I ain't gonna be doing none of that.
Yeah. I'm sticking to the casinos. And
yeah, that's smart. Yeah,
so. All right. Well, I think this is a good show, man. I think we wrap here. I think as I go deeper into the book, I mean, I think you brought up some things that you're like, how do you start a personal brand?
Yeah.
Is it about telling your story, your philosophy, or thing? What is it like?
Yeah.
You brought up a lot of things, and as I go deeper, I will. I'll share it here.
Yeah, and I think we should share our learnings as well, just from doing it, because I'm just now, getting into. So everything I'm saying is a theory.
No, and I'm just leaning into like the poker side of things. I've been creating content for a minute, and now I'm creating content that's more of my personal side of things. So I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
All right, boss. Until
all
next
right,
time.
man. All right, peace.